Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. I was debating today earlier whether to talk about one subject or two today. I think I'm going to stick with one. Maybe it'll turn out to be a short one, but I think I'll just stick to one subject, which is the New Hampshire primaries. I'm recording this the day after the New Hampshire primaries. I'll start with, well, it's very brief, the Republican primary. Trump obviously won. The only big news is there that he got more votes than any incumbent president ever. And the second big news is it's twice the number of votes that Barack Obama got, turned out for him. Now I'm going to switch over to the Democratic side. By the time to just before the primary, it was no longer a big surprise that Sanders won, but actually he did not win as many votes as he did in 2016. But the speculation is, and it's probably true, that's because when he ran in 2016, it was really just he and Hillary Clinton. Today or yesterday there were multiple candidates, so that could be one reason. But he won but underperformed and did not win as many votes as was expected, as many votes more than the second place finisher, Pete Buttigieg. The other surprise was Amy Klobuchar, who came in third. It was not expected for her to do that well. What that means is, well, it turned out that Elizabeth Warren came in fourth and Biden came in a very distant fifth. He did not win any delegates. He did so badly that he didn't even wait for the results to come in before he left New Hampshire and went to South Carolina to get ready for that primary. What is interesting, or what I want to bring up, is something that pundits have kind of talked about, but they didn't really delve enough into the subject, in my opinion. And I'm going to do today what I try to do. I don't manage to do it all the time, but I try to come up with insights that others are not talking about. What has been on the radar screen, what pundits have talked about, is that you have these multiple candidates, none of whom has a wide appeal. There is no one like a Barack Obama who peeled across the spectrum of Democrats in order to win the nomination. You have Bernie Sanders appealing to the very far left. You have Buttigieg appealing to, I guess you would say, upper class white voters. I could be wrong about the upper class part, but he is appealing to a very narrow demographic too. And then Amy Klobuchar, and then the other ones, I don't even count the other ones anymore. I think they're all going to drop out. Well, Yang dropped out yesterday, and another one who was so obscure and so far behind that I can't even remember his name, and I'm not even going to bother to look it up. And today, as I'm recording this, Deval Patrick, remember him? He was going to be the great savior of the moderate wing of the ever shrinking moderate wing of the Democratic Party. He dropped out today. He didn't win any delegates either. You may even be surprised to know that he was on the ballot in New Hampshire, but he was. But he did so badly that he dropped out too. I predict that Warren will drop out soon, and perhaps Biden too. Biden may stay a while. What Biden is hoping for, or counting on, and this is what I want to get to, is the black vote. These first two, well, the caucus and the primary, these first two votes were in overwhelmingly white states, where you had an overwhelmingly white electorate. What remains to be seen now, because you're not going to win if you're a Democratic candidate, you're not going to win without the black vote. And I don't see Sanders appealing to it right now. I don't see Buttigieg appealing to it right now, or Klobuchar. I don't see any of them. Well, Biden, that's what he's counting on, and it's mainly his association with Barack Obama, having been the vice president. He would do the best among black voters now as we move into Super Tuesday and these southern states. But I think he's going to underperform there too. And if he underperforms there too, then if you're a black voter and if Biden drops out, or when he drops out, because I predict he will, then which of, if it's between Buttigieg and Sanders, which do you go for? This is my prediction. I think a lot of voters will not go to Sanders, will not go to Buttigieg, will go to, you guessed it, I hope, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is already getting, in two surveys that I saw, 35%, over 30% in three surveys that I saw of black voters. That right there is such a large improvement and such a large percentage of the black vote for a Republican candidate that I would have had trouble believing it, except that there were three polls showing it. But now that I see what's happening in the Democratic field, I think this is looking increasingly likely because of the outreach that he has made to black voters. He gave them a prominent place in his State of the Union speech, but also his policies, the prison reform, the opportunity zones, and of course the increased employment, the lowest unemployment rate for black workers since the records have been kept. I think there's going to be a big surprise, or I see the potential for a big surprise on election night. And if that happens, I have to wonder, that's something, well, that's why I have a comment section. Perhaps some of you would like to comment. I would like to know where the Democrats go from there if Trump pulls a large segment of the black vote, number one, and number two, if you have candidates who are not Democratic candidates, who are not attracting the black vote, what happens to the Democratic Party? Because they need over 80% of the black vote in order to win an election. Any less than that, and they can never win a presidential election. So, well, oh, and Hispanics too. We'll see where they go. So this is going to be a very interesting election. I am interested to see what happens, especially if there's, that's the other thing I didn't mention, if there is a brokered Democratic convention, as increasingly looks likely. If you have no one with enough delegates to win outright, but you have one candidate, and I predict that candidate could be, or very likely will be, Bernie Sanders. You have the establishment Democrats who are apoplectic of Sanders' candidacy, but what do you do if he has the most votes going into a brokered convention? People have predicted, and I think this is possible too, because as you can tell, I'm not a spring chicken here. So I watched on TV the '68 Chicago riots. If Sanders has the most votes and he is denied the nomination at their convention, I don't want to really think about what the Sanders supporters will do, because some of them, if you ever watch James O'Keefe and his project Veritas, where he sends people with hidden cameras and hidden microphones into Democratic environments or organizations to record what they say, he has done at least 2 videos of Bernie Sanders staffers threatening violence, not just if they don't get what they want at the convention, but also what should be done with people like me, conservatives. We should be put in gulags, locked up, re-educated. It's unbelievable. So once again, I am on one hand eager, on another hand not so eager. but in any case, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And that's it for today. Thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with anybody you think would also like the video. Got any comments? You can comment in the section below the video. It's the comment section. That's what it's there for. You can also ask questions and suggest future topics. You can subscribe. I love getting new subscribers, so subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And finally, come back and see me again. I look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.